Okay, fam, welcome back. So today we're going to be going over the Grayscale Trust, Bitcoin, and the markets. So with that being said, let's get it. Okay, so before I get started on this content, I did want to let you guys know that there will be a second channel that's going to be created. On this one, we're going to talk about all kinds of things, pretty much anything and everything, maybe even sometimes including finance related under the sun, that for the most part will be extenuating things that are outside of finance that we don't actually currently discuss on this channel. So that could be anything from politics, it could be everyday life things, it could be toxic workplace environments, Rosicrucian principles, exposing secret societies and orders and darkness and corruption within society. It could be medical advancements, technological advancements, divine order. It could be a lot of different things that we're going to talk about. There's a great deal of knowledge that we have that we are finally, at this point in time, prepared to begin sharing with the world. So to what order and what extent and the timing of that we'll do this, that remains to be seen. But as of right now, it is tentatively something that we intend to do. And just wanted to come out and let you know that. So let's go ahead and get into the content here. So the first thing I wanted to pull up for you guys is the NASDAQ. I know I talked about this briefly before, but what I think what happened on Friday, and again, I didn't keep up perfectly with this, been pretty busy this week, but there was some data that came out that the markets didn't like. And yeah, they kind of really just was like, to hell with this. I'm just going to sell everything. I want to say that it was retail sales. Yeah, prior 2.5, the forecast was, well, hold on a sec. Sorry, that's Canada. My bad, y'all. So let's see what we actually got. Well, it could have been the Fed members. There's that. I'm sure they always got something to say. They're always flip-flopping all over the place. So it must have been this. It must have been the manufacturing data. Again, TradingView is not showing what the actual data is, but whatever the data is, or maybe the home sales or something like that, a decrease in home sales, obviously that shows a potential cooling of the economy. That's not a good sign, right? We want to see a strong economy, but then if a strong economy happens, you could get more inflation. So it's kind of the market wants their cake and they want to eat it too, but the question is, will they get it, right? So what they saw on Friday they did not like, they sold off. It could also be tariff talks. There could be that too. It's kind of a lot of things going on in the works right now that is spooking the markets a little bit. But I did want to point this out, okay? So we had a crazy sell-off. We bought some on the dip because it just makes sense. I mean, there's no reason not to. Every single time that this has dipped, it's been a dip buying opportunity. You guys can see, basically all the way since back during the elections, even after the elections, every time the market's gone up and it's pulled back, what happened? It kept going up, pulled back, went up, pulled back, went up, pulled back, went up, on and on and on and on and on, right? Mostly sideways, but the dip buying opportunities have been opportunities to buy the dip. The other thing I will say is we do have the 4-hour oversold signal again. Every time we hit one of these, it has marked a local bottom. So this could actually be a bottom right now. Obviously not a guarantee, but we're pretty close to support here. We did crack it a little bit with this candle. The question is, are we going to immediately reverse on Monday or not? That remains to be seen. Last time we hit these levels, we did get kind of a little bit below it, as you can see here, but then we went immediately back up. So it is a major buy zone for the whales and institutions. The big money's looking at those levels thinking, yeah, I want to buy some of that. Again, structure has not really been broken here. It's still kind of holding barely, but if it does break, which at this point, I can't say with certainty one way or another that it's going to, this would be the next level down here at 21.3 to 21.2. The only thing that I'll say about this is that the markets mainly just since the elections has been going sideways, up slightly, but sideways. Do keep in mind that the fact that we're going sideways and not falling off a cliff is actually a good thing, because the last couple of years we've had very, very good returns in the market, way higher than normal, way higher than the standards. So this is actually not a bad scenario. Pullback in time, I would prefer that any day over an actual pullback. You guys may not agree, but when looking at the grand scale of things, if we just zoom out here a little bit, you can see how truly insane these returns have been since the bear market. I mean, these, for a stock market return to return about 25% a year, or whatever this is, 50% a year since the bear market lows. We just go, 2 years out, November to November. I mean, it's 50% a year gain on the NASDAQ. That's absolutely crazy. Okay, the S&P is only benchmarked to do about 10 to 12% a year, and you're talking 2 to 4 times that much per year. If all we get is a little bit of sideways for the first quarter, that's not the worst thing in the world, okay, in my opinion. So anyways, Bitcoin mainly just going sideways. Again, am I surprised? Not really. I mean, until the Fed funds rate comes down, until they start going into QE, printing money, stuff like that, or Congress kind of forces their hand by saying, hey, look, we have this big, beautiful bill that we want, this $4.9 trillion. It's a $5 trillion bill. We really need to get all this stuff passed. J-Powell, we kind of need to get stuff going. So here's the bill. We want this much money printed. It got signed off by the president, got signed off by Congress. The Fed kind of really has to do it. I mean, that's pretty much their job is, when money needs to be printed for things, or whatever the case may be, inflation needs to be controlled, they kind of have to do it. That's their mandates. So, I mean, if Congress comes out and approves a $5 trillion bill for anything, or any kind of bill at all, the money has to be printed. I mean, that's just the way it goes. There's no other way to go about it. So we'll have to see if and when that happens, and the kind of the effects of something like that. So until that happens, Bitcoin maybe just going sideways, altcoins maybe just going sideways. That's kind of what I think. So anyways, excuse me. So we haven't covered the trusts in a little bit. Again, they have mainly just been going sideways at this point. So we can cover them every day, but if they're not doing anything, then it doesn't make sense to cover them every single day. So anyways, so once again, LTCN, we're basically looking at 9 potentially here as the bottom for now. It could ultimately be the bottom. This thing could just go higher. So anywhere between 9 to 1260 for a pick-me-up. Targets up here at 27 to 54. The measure move, if you can manage to get your entry at $9, is 500%. BCHG, so it looks very similar to LTCN, tried to retest the trend line, got rejected. That's not a very bullish sign, but again, we are still kind of holding these lows back here. Again, when you're looking at these charts, if you do this on your own time, if you don't have experience doing this, if you're at a level and you're not sure what the level is going to do, always take a look to the left. Okay, you see all these candle wicks down here? That's kind of what these traders are looking at. Or this candle high right here, that's what these guys are looking at, this gap, all that kind of stuff, to determine where the next best buying point is. So in this case, 280 to right around that $3 area would be, in my opinion, the premium opportunity. The profit targets here would be 1250 up to 25. And again, that's because those are swing high levels. Swing highs matter a great deal. Traders look at that too. So 760% gain. HZEN, so pretty much sitting in between these two zones. So anywhere between, I'd say about maybe 290 to going up to 340 on this one for a pick-me-up. Targets up here at $8.15 to $10, $11, somewhere in there for a 265% gain, ETCG. So the gap has to be filled up here between right around 1090 to 1110. Gaps usually always get filled like 90-something% of the time. I'd still be looking at right around 10 to pick some up. I don't think it's going to go much lower than the trend line, so maybe 9 to 10. Again, don't take what I say to heart. It could go lower. That's always a possibility. I'm just giving you guys what I see likely to happen based on the probabilities. There's no guarantees in anything, okay? So targets up here at, excuse me, targets roughly about, I don't know what I was doing with this. Maybe right about there. Okay, so targets, I'd be looking at 17 to 20 on this one. For the absolute maximum swing here of 120%. excuse me, ETH. So also another gap that needs to be filled right around 25.40. Excuse me. In this case, there's a gap level here that we also can look at that needs to be filled. So, or that I should say that has been filled. That's not really relevant at this point. So the next level that I would be looking at to potentially bottom out here is right around 2060. I mean, the trading price action as of right now is pretty much around that zone. So worst case scenario, maybe 2060. Target I'd be looking at is this one way up here at 73. That's the kind of mini cup and handle here, which is, I mean, that's, you have a big one and you have a small one. The small one's up here, but I mean, that's a pretty sizable gain, 255% gain. So GBAT kind of sitting around those wick lows. Again, I've told you guys about the stop loss hunting. That's how these market makers make money on you before they eventually swing the price back up. Happened here, happened here, happened here for a short time, happened here for a long time. You can kind of see what I'm getting at here. So 3 to about 370 is where I'd be looking to pick some up on this one. And the target's at the all-time high at 32 for about 1,000% gain. FILG, same thing, kind of testing those wick lows here. So the wick lows anywhere between 20, I would say maybe going up to 32 for a pick-me-up. Target all the way up at the all-time highs at 400. Keep in mind the altcoin market hasn't moved yet because we have not seen a rolling off of the dominance from Bitcoin into the altcoin market yet. And once that happens, I suspect these big moves are going to come. So 1,825% gain. GLIV, again, testing the wick lows. So 820 to kind of right around 9, I suspect is probably the best area to pick some up. Target all the way up here at 80 for about 900% gain. G-Link. So nice long wick down here at the bottom. Not really a big wick. I would have liked to see something more like this or like this to be convinced this is actually going to push up. So I'll have to keep an eye out on that. But still a little bit of buying pressure here nonetheless. So 38 to 44 here for the buy area. Target all the way up here at 225 is what I'd be looking at for about 475% gain. GSOL, next one here. So kind of retesting the lows down here at 18. Again, I'm looking for anywhere from 16 to 22 for a pick-me-up, right in between those two boxes. And the target from going from 80 to about 115 on this one. So pretty sizable gain. I mean, you could be looking at as much as a 10x, 610% gain here. GXLM, so kind of bobbing around the top. Whether this is an accumulation or distribution remains to be seen. Based on the timing of the cycle, I would say it's accumulation. Based on the technical pattern, it could be distribution. It's hard to say at this point. With crypto, it's more than just charts. It's kind of about the timing of the cycle and the halving and all that stuff. So mainstream adoption, crypto is just kind of a different beast than stocks. I'm sure a lot of you probably realize that by now. So GXLM 36 to 40 is what I'd be looking at for pick-me-up. Targets for this one, 58 to 69. You could even go as high as the all-time high at 96 for about 160% gain on this one. Next one here, Mana. So again, we're kind of testing these wick lows. The wick lows range anywhere from 550 going up to roughly around that $9 area. Keep an eye out for that. The target would still be the all-time high at 70. So worst case scenario, about 200% gain. I suppose if you get, mana at $5, that's actually not a worst case scenario. That's pretty good and that's pretty cheap. So Zcash here, $3. And again, we're still retesting the wick lows. You can see it got a little bounce right off of these previous candles here. That's exactly how a trader would look at these. So I would probably say 3 to about 310 would be the best area here. As of right now, with the target up at 1050 with 240% gain. And when I tell you guys about the wick lows and stop loss hunting and market makers and stuff like that, what I'm trying to show you guys is smart money antics, okay? The way that these guys think, how they operate, how they see the charts, the liquidity process, all that kind of stuff. It's very complicated stuff. We may talk about that in depth in an entirely separate video, but we're not going to do it here. Okay, so what's on the books for tomorrow is based on what I'm currently seeing in the markets could push a little bit lower before they eventually bounce. It is pretty oversold. I think we're either at or near the bottom, but some people may be in their positions that may not have been watching the markets that may want to dump off at the open. That's possible. And then we may see a recovery throughout the day that could happen. So if that happens, keep a lookout for that. You may want to have some cash on the side to buy the dip. Again, not financial advice, but we're kind of expecting that. So we could close out this call right now for some profit at the open. We're probably just going to hold it, honestly. So we got assigned the shares of TSLL. We're considering putting on another cash secured put for TSLL. It's pretty cheap right now. We're going to go throw a couple covered calls on in the morning. We could wait till Friday to do the weekend thing where it basically eats away, decays at the theta, the value of the contract. But we don't see any point in waiting. We'll just do it and just collect the premiums. And if for whatever reason we can close it out cheap and do another one before the end of the week, we will. And in terms of what's on the books for tomorrow, we're going to keep an eye on the swing trades. Kind of thinking that APLD, QBTS, and NEO are probably going to shoot up pretty quick here. Fate, not so sure about that one. We'll be watching. And we're probably going to buy some more AIPI. And if, for whatever reason, the market does actually pull back like I think it's going to, then we'll probably also buy some more GPIC on top of that. So anyways, hope you all enjoyed this content. Please like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see y'all later. Peace.